So my name is Sid Once, and I'm with Studio B. I'm a meditation and yoga teacher. Although every time I say teacher, I feel more like I'm an offerer. I just offer what I practice and hope it's beneficial for you. And I really feel like whenever, even this evening, I'm offering this approach into meditation, really, this is created by this relationship right now. I offer it, you're here with me. I feel your energy, even if I can't see your face. And then whatever the teaching that comes out of this evening is something we've created together. So I hope that I'm just the guide and the words are just pointers to remind you or guide you back to things you already know. And that's that true self that's quiet and peaceful, and no one can ever take it away from you. But we just forget to return there. So I like to start with a practice, and it's called the bell practice. And I have my bell. I'm going to show you so you don't aren't startled. This is a Japanese bell. And what's so wonderful about the bell practice? It's simple. I'll invite the sound of the bell, and then you simply listen. You just let your attention rest on the beginning of the sound and pay attention all the way to the end. And then we take 3 breaths and then we'll proceed. So no worries. This is just a happy moment together. All we're doing, our intention, resting our awareness on this sound. It may be easy, maybe a little difficult tonight, but we're just trying. Now we're just going to take 3 breaths and we're just simply going to be aware of breathing. So breathing in, I'm aware of my in breath. Breathing out, I'm aware of my out breath. In and out, in and out. And that's it. That simple practice calms you because we've anchored the mind on the sound. And then we were just aware of breathing. So a little about me as we begin. Uh, I was introduced to meditation and yoga in college. I went to University of California, San Diego, and so that was 30 something years ago. And at the time in the late 80s, yoga and meditation were still a little kooky, post 60s and 70s. So those seeds were planted way back then. And over my life, I just kept being interested in returning to the practices. And it was difficult for me. I am an adult person with ADHD that didn't even know I had it. And my mind was very active, obviously, and my body very active, very fidgety. So the thought of always calming my mind was really challenging for me. But then it started to be just simply a way of happiness to sit. So over the years, I've studied different forms of meditation and yoga. Now my main practice is with a teacher named Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Vietnamese monk who brought mindfulness to the United States. He's my main teacher, and I am in that lineage of practice. So that's just a little bit how I ended up here. But I really feel like if I can enjoy meditation and sitting still, anyone can, because it was something to get me here tonight. So one of the contemplations I've been working with uh, is the idea of practicing. So in meditation, we're practicing, right? But then in life, we're always practicing something, right? And it may be, maybe we want to be a good cook, maybe we want to be a good swimmer, runner. So we practice and we get better. But what are we also practicing? We're also practicing worrying. And then we become this really good worrier because we worry so much, or we're stressed out all the time. So we become this person that's really good at being stressed, even though it's not a good thing, we all know. But something is, we're practicing something. And being aware, what are we really practicing all the time? Are we practicing cultivating happiness or peace? So in meditation, we're just practicing resetting, we're pausing, we're resting, and that's all. And I know all of us Americans, I was raised to be a producer in the, of things and jobs and money. And, so we all do things, we're doers all the time, and we're trying to achieve things, right? But do we know how to just be with ourselves? And I used to think, well, that's crazy. I can never just sit and be. That's being lazy, you know? And if I was gonna be, I was gonna be sleeping so that I could do more the next day. But when we can sit still and just be, that alone is a source of healing. And that seems like, wow, that's just a little too simple to be true because my stress and all these things are so complicated. And if I take my eye off the ball, something's going to collapse, right? But the truth is, if we stop, reset, and pause, come back to just being, we're refreshed and we're renewed. We can begin again. So, with stress, we all have stress. There's no way around it, of course. But when stress arises, what do? I'm really good at adding on to it. If I get anxious about something, I can add a whole layer after layer after layer and become more stressed out. Right? That's adding a story to the stress. But can we stop in these moments and assess what's really going on right now? It's kind of tough, because you get so wound up and you feel justified in the stress. An interesting thing just happened to me personally in this realm. As we know, healthcare is very complicated, and my insurance company switched my prescription insurance, and I didn't know. because I'm here in New Orleans and the mail's going to Los Angeles. So I was at the pharmacy and I was informed that it's different now. My chest got so tight because it's so complicated to, figure out all the numbers and the way they set up the prescriptions. And I have medication that's a specialty medication for autoimmune things. And if it stops, then I have problems. So I was way ahead, right? I'd already gone into like, oh my gosh, I'm going to run out of medicine. I'm going to have to go back to the doctor. I'm going to have to switch the medicine. I'm going to have to, and I was in a state. But what was really happening was just that my insurance changed and I'm just going to have to hunker down and fix this and figure it out. None of the other stuff actually happened. I got the medication in time. Today it came in and I was so happy. But all of that wasted energy was just for nothing, right? I'm stressing out my nervous system. So when this stress arises, what is the story we start to tell ourselves? And when we ask ourselves what is actually happening right now, that is being aware of this present moment. That's what we talk about in mindfulness, awareness of this present moment. And that also seems very simple, but we are rarely right here. We're usually ahead of ourselves, worrying about the future, or this moment's preparing for the next moment, or we're worrying about the past. So when we look at stress, and when it arises, what do we do? That's the beginning of the practice, awareness. So now I'm just going to offer, this is a way of introducing an intention. So just listen, and then I'm going to offer the bell again. We listen to the bell, take 3 breaths, and then we'll continue. May I recognize what I'm practicing? May I be able to recognize stress arising and not add a story and know what's actually happening. May I be able to shift out of doing and into simply being. I'm going to invite the sound of the bell. And again, just let your attention lovingly, gently rest on this sound from the beginning to the end. And then we just take 3 breaths. Breathing in, I'm aware of my in breath. Breathing out, I'm aware of my out breath. In, out, in, out. we just practiced stopping. We were doing, I was speaking and you were listening, we were doing, then we stopped and we just let ourselves be. We reset. We already practiced again. So, of course, the source of a lot of stress is our thoughts. And we are thinking constantly. That is part of being a human being. Our minds are wired to protect us, and we're thinking. But 98% of what we think is repetitive and not helpful. We're just thinking the same things over and over and over. And the mind's just going. And our thoughts have a way of being very seductive. They always seem urgent, and they needed to be attended to like right away. But we do the same thing. So the thought gets our attention, and then we start creating a story. So a thought will arise, and it could be something simple like, I think I'm hungry. Then here we go, right? I think I'm hungry. Well, maybe I didn't eat enough breakfast. I should have ate that. But for lunch, I'm going to have this or that. But I think I really want that. Well, I told myself I wasn't going to eat that, but maybe I can just cheat and have that. It'd be fun. I kind of deserve it. And off we go with that thought. And wanting something to eat, of course, is not the most anxiety provoking thought. But of course, we can get hooked on thoughts that lead to a lot of stress and worry. And if we are constantly adding this story, we're practicing letting every thought become a big story. And they don't need to be. And we can stop, let ourselves sit, and just be quiet and still and just be. And in those moments, we're not worried because we're not consumed with what we're doing in the future. We're not worrying about our success, or we're thinking about bad things that happen to us. Everything from some serious trauma to little micro traumas that we repeat in our head. So when we sit, we switch out of that autopilot that our brain is in all the time, and we let those things relax. And our body is very wise. It knows when we need to rest. And while we rest, the body restores itself. And we don't have to do anything. So, one practice is seeing the thoughts that are arising. And we're able to decide, do I need to act on this thought? Or maybe I don't. So, when we sit in meditation, it's a time where we don't have to plan something in the future. We don't have to make anything happen because we're making things happen all day. Got to figure out how to work my phone. I've got to figure out the prescription. I've got to feed the dog. You got to make all these things happen. Little, small, work, family. It's a time for you to reset. And that's why the sitting is a source of happiness. That's how my practice deepened. It felt good. I wanted to sit. Sometimes I was worried I wasn't being enlightened, and then I was trying to achieve something. Then it was like, oh my gosh, this just feels good. And I do need to reset. I do need to rest. So sitting is this source of happiness. And as we sit and rest, our body heals. And we don't have to do anything. We just can enjoy it. I'm going to offer an intention. Just relax. Let the words just guide you. May I be able to recognize my thoughts arising and not have to act on every thought and not have to add a story to that thought. May I be able to just let myself be. May I be able to just let go of my worries for even a few breaths. Going to invite the sound of the bell. This time, think of the sound as someone that loves you very much. And all they want for you is to be happy, safe, and peaceful. Breathing in, I am aware of my thoughts. Breathing out, I relax. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We were just able to practice again. I hope so far you're feeling that this is doable and that this is not something complicated. It should be the source of happiness. Lots of times in meditation, we contemplate the idea of sitting like a mountain. So when we look at a mountain, the mountain is like very solid and stable and rooted in the ground. It has a quiet dignity to it. And it's just sitting there majestically. We have that in us. We have a stability, a stillness, dignity, and strength that we can feel in us when we sit down and we have our spine straight and our head lifting up to the sky. we feel stable and strong in our body. As the mountain is there and there's storms, the mountain is still stable, steady. There may be life on the mountain and lions and humans and so much activity. The mountain remains steady. All of the activity can swirl around, our storm can move through, and the mountain is still there. We are all like a mountain. We can feel that. We can be steady in whatever storm arises in our sensations of our mind, our feelings in our body. And when we sit and just relax, we feel that inner stability. And we see our mind. We feel our breathing. And we're aware of our body. And then we can allow all of the images, all of the feelings that move through us like a storm, just come and go. And we can remain quiet, still, and strong. No one can ever take this away from us. We just have to remember that it's there, and we practice returning. I'm going to offer another intention. May I practice sitting like a mountain. May I see the stability, the quiet, the stillness, and the strength in myself. And may I be able to watch all of these sensations come and go.
That's it?
Yeah. Hi. Oh. So I'm going to invite the sound of the bell. Just let your attention, remember, follow the sound from the beginning to the end. Then we take 3 breaths. Just breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. So I'm hoping that you're realizing that whatever impression you may have of meditation in your mind, that it doesn't really require a lot of effort. That you can sit down and meditate and not have to worry about achieving something. There's nothing to fix. We're not trying to fix ourselves. There's really not much you need to do at all. You need to sit and let yourself be. And as you sit there, these things will naturally occur. You will have a sense of peace. You will have a sense of relaxation and then happiness without striving for it or working towards it. This is in our self, these feelings. We can always access this. And we're simply doing it by sitting still and letting ourselves be. And then our body heals itself. And of course, things will arise. Stress will arise. Thoughts will arise. But we're not trying to fix those things. That's not what we're doing. Our intention, remember, our intentions is to just practice being. Okay? So, of course, the next thing that comes into play is breathing. Our breath is always with us, and our breathing is in this present moment. That's the only place our breathing can be. So we use breathing and the breath as an anchor, and we're anchoring the mind, right? So the mind's really active. It's like a boat up here floating around. We drop the anchor, and it just lets the mind have something to rest on, just like we rested the mind on the sound of the bell. So our breath can be a source of happiness and peace by anchoring the mind. And we're anchoring it here in the present moment. It's that simple, but we forget. So when we sit, we're looking at our thoughts and feelings and our body in a loving, compassionate, curious way. And honestly, it becomes funny. Like the patterns of my thought, now I'd start to laugh in my mind. It's like, oh, I'm doing that again. I'm in that loop of thoughts and it comes up. I'm like, oh, wow. So we're just comfortable with whatever arises. So our breath in this practice of just being is available to us anywhere, anytime. It's just remembering to stop, pause, and let yourself be. I have one more intention. May I sit and relax with whatever arises. May I be able to observe with curiosity and compassion and kindness whatever arises in me, because we can be very impatient with ourselves. We can criticize ourselves, but we approach this like we would if it was a friend that we loved who needed our help. That's how we take care of ourselves. And may I let my breath be my anchor. Enjoy the sound of the bell. Just relax. Notice what your mind is doing. If there's any resistance, just relax and let it guide you back to this present moment. And now we're going to take 3 breaths. Let your breath be a source of happiness. Our bodies are a miracle of evolution. Our bodies are breathing and keeping us alive, and we don't even have to think about it. And we're able to breathe when so many people may not be as fortunate as us. So these 3 breaths are a source of joy and happiness. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. Now this time, just relax. Keep your eyes closed. Just let yourself be. Can you gently be aware of your physical body? All that means, can you feel your foot touching the floor? Maybe you feel your hand on your leg. Maybe it's difficult to be in touch with your body, and you can just wiggle your toes for a moment. Now you're aware of your feet. Now, can you guide your awareness to your heart and just notice what you're feeling? Don't overthink it. Whatever's there is there. It could be good, could be bad, could be neutral. We're just simply tuning in. Now, can we guide that awareness to our mind? Just notice, are you thinking? Can you see what you're thinking or notice what you're thinking? That's okay. Maybe all of this is a little challenging tonight with a lot of different things going on. No judgment, we're just being, checking in. And finally, bring that awareness, anchoring it on your breath. And also, don't let this hang you up in any way if it makes you anxious. Just relax. You can place your hand on your belly or on your chest. You feel your body breathing. And let that be a source of happiness. May I know when I need to rest and reset. May I be aware of what am I practicing? What am I getting good at? May I be safe. May I be peaceful. And may I always accept myself exactly as I am. Your eyes are closed. You can drop your chin to your chest and gently blink your eyes open. I hope that this offering tonight was a way to help you see how you can heal your stress and learn how to just be, just bring a little more peace and happiness to yourself. It was such a pleasure being here with you tonight. I hope that this was beneficial. And of course, if you have any questions, you can contact me through Studio B. Have a beautiful, peaceful evening. And remember, the mountain and the peace, all of these things are already inside of you. Namaste.